Hi, everyone. I am Simone Simpson from Wondering Yoga Cafe Entertainment, and I want to welcome you to our 30-day, 1 meal a day challenge. Today is day 17, 1-7, well over the hump and into this part of it where it just becomes a part of what we do. I usually eat at 1 o'clock. Today at 1:15, I looked up, I was working and thought, oh, it's time to eat. So we're in this sweet spot, which is where we will remain. And I know that I've been really getting a little overzealous, like, ooh, what about a 1 week water fast? What about rolling threes water fast? What about, but I said, I want to gradually go into this process. I do see that now when it's time to eat, I'm not hungry, but I still eat, but I'm not hungry when it's time to eat, when my eating window opens. And so I'm enjoying that and just wondering, how will this feel in 2 more weeks? Will I be at the point where I naturally have a fasting day, where that naturally happens? I've heard that does happen, that there's you'll come to a point where you're not hungry during your eating time. So skip your meal that day when you're 1 meal a day, which again is eating in your meal in 2 hours or less. Warrior diet is 4 hours or less, but we'll give ourselves some leeway. We're doing 4 hours or less, 1 meal a day, just because it is a skill getting all your food in within 2 hours. Everything has to be prepared. You have to know how filling what you're making is going to be. Sometimes I realize at the end of my meal, like, oh, wow, I'm satiated now, but this isn't going to tide me over until tomorrow at my eating window, and I've got to eat something else. So just getting to know what foods will do that. When it is, we'll need a little bit more. So this first 30 days, we have a lot of flexibility to play with that, not stepping outside of eating the 1 meal a day, but just as far as that, the time window that we allow it while we are conditioning. So we're conditioning this first 30 days. But yes, it is day 17. Remember to like this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. And if you can hit that subscribe button, please, right there, that little red button, it's saying, pick me, pick me. So pick the red button, it makes it happy. And thank you for doing so. And I want to know how you're feeling. What's your dominant vibration today? I've been working on my vibration. Something happened a couple of days ago and I realized, wow, I shouldn't have done that. My vibration dropped. Like normally I'm just happy, joy, happy, joy, happy, joy. And lately I'm like, what are these thoughts? This isn't normally me. This isn't how I feel. So I'm glad to know that. And the higher your vibration is, your vibration is your feeling, how you're feeling. The higher that is, the more noticeable and more uncomfortable it is when it dips. And sometimes you might talk to someone who might laugh, but they're actually not happy. And so for me, that's when I can kind of get sucked in or tricked or distracted and my vibration drops. And so that kind of happened. And I was like, oh my goodness, I have to take care of me. Nothing is more important than that you feel good. Nothing. If you don't feel good, nothing you do is good. Nothing you say to anyone is good. So take care of you first. And then you can take care of your environment. You can be more patient. You can be more loving, more kind, more caring. If you stop feeling good, just go take care of you. Let others know. I'll be back tomorrow, next week, next year. I'm gonna go take care of me. So yeah, so how are you feeling in 1 word? Write it in the comments. Go. Okay, just write it. My 1 word today is going to be easy satisfied. I'm going to say easy satisfied. That's what I'm going to say. Easy satisfied is it, but actually I feel happy. That's always in there. Easy, happy, satisfied. Can that be 1 word? All 3 in one? We take out the spaces. Easy, happy, satisfied. That's my 1 word. I'm going to make up the rules here. That's my 1 word. That's how I'm feeling. And I'm so glad to be feeling that way, because when my energy dropped the way it dropped, I was like, oh my goodness, it's going to take me a week and a half to get back to happy joy. And then today, this morning, I said, you know what? I'm going to be back to my happy vibration before noon. And I was. So that's really cool. I did what I needed to do when I got back up here, which is where I like to hang out. This is my dominant vibration. So yeah, so definitely paying attention to what your dominant vibration is and paying attention if you're not feeling good. Did you talk to someone who maybe you normally don't talk to and all of a sudden your vibration dropped? Did you go somewhere? You know, did you watch a movie? Was it a song? Was it pay attention to those things? When I first started noticing that, it was a few years ago. I was in politics and I had just come out of a children's meeting, which I love because kids are always so happy. And the adult meeting had just let out. And I went and hugged this guy, just hugged him. You know, I'm all open in love and I just hugged him. And shortly after that, I was like, wow, what is wrong with me? I've been so happy. I've been so, what is going on? And then I realized it was a direct correlation of I hugged that guy, I started feeling icky. And so that's when I really started paying attention to things like that. And it was kind of, it's good to pay attention to what it is you do, that after you do that thing, you don't feel as good, because then you cannot do that thing and maintain your happy. That's a good thing. So my guru says other people's bad habits are stronger than your good habits. So when other people have bad habits, do not go around them. Just stay away. I mean, you can make donations to a cause, you can write a check, send loving thoughts, write a check. But when you're there in the midst of it, you're picking all of that up, and you've got to be very strong to not pick that up. So you've got to make sure you're healthy and whole first. So do that. So I want to talk about today's quote. I'm so excited about it. So excited. Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. I love that. Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. That is so good, because that is what I do. Not even intentionally, I just can't not do it. I was going to an event my friends were having. It was going to be held in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico closed they shut down. And so then their friends were like, hey, let's just have it on Miami Beach. They lived on Miami Beach. I'm like, okay, I'd never been out of the airport in Miami. I'd been to Miami International, flying to Europe all the time. I go like 3 or 4 times a year, either out of Miami or Kennedy, but I had never left the airport in Miami because I thought Miami was like LA. It is nothing like LA. Oh my goodness. So anyway, I was so curious about the event they were having, and I was excited about it. I was ready to travel, ready to go somewhere. And I went, and as soon as I left the airport, I was sitting and I looked out of the window and I said, I thought Miami was like LA. It's nothing like LA. I said, it's like the tropics. And I said, I might stay. And I said all of this aloud, and the driver, I was kind of looking, thinking like I'm talking to him, but I was just kind of talking maybe to me, or I don't know. I was just talking. I was speaking my thoughts, I guess is what I was doing, but I could feel it. And I just left the airport. And then even better, Miami Beach is an island. It's not Miami. When I tell you I live on Miami Beach, I'm not saying I live on the beach in Miami. It's actually it's not Miami. It's a beach. We crossed the bridge and went to this island, and I never left. And so my curiosity, wanting to go to the event my friends were having, I was doing it a lot to support them because they're just beautiful beings. And I was like, oh, they're having an event, I'll go and I'll be supportive. It's just what I do as a friend. If my friend starts a business, I'm going to become a client. That's just me, what I do for friends. I'm like, I'm going to support your business. I'm going to become a client. I'm going to at least do some of this until it gets in the way of my life. And then I'm going to go, okay, I supported you. I dropped a few K. Now we're good. So anyway, I was going to be supportive, and because I was curious about what was going on, and I like to travel, and that brought me to Miami Beach. And I never left. So that curiosity, I was drawn by the strange pull of my friends are having an event and I'm ready to travel. And I just went. And then when I got there, and I saw Miami Beach. I fell in love with it. I was like, I found my people. Everyone was so happy and at ease. I was like, in Vegas, I sometimes feel out of place because maybe some people are grumpy and I'm never grumpy. And I'm like, I just have this silly saying that they're all waiting for me to leave so they can be themselves. But like people are like, how are you today? I'm like, I'm fantastic. Why? I just am inner peace. Like nothing different is, I mean, great things are always happening, but I'm not happy because I bought a new pair of shoes or met a great guy. I'm happy because I'm happy. And based on that, I draw experiences into my life. Not all good though. One that wasn't good, I'm like, let me not do that again. But yeah, so I went to Miami Beach and never left. I went onto the boardwalk the first day and my friends were like, okay, well, there's a path there. You can get to the ocean. But if you go down there, it's a private beach. And so I walked outside, asked him again, which way is it? And he explained it. So of course I was thinking, well, I'm going to go to the private beach then. And I went and walked right up to this most beautifully landscaped area with these beautiful succulent plants that were like 6 feet tall and so well manicured. And I walked up to the sign. It had such a nice way of saying no trespassing. It was like, oh, we know everyone loves to travel the road less to the path less traveled, but this path is only for residents of one hotel and residences. And I was like, and homes, one hotel residences and homes. And I was like, love the way they so nicely said no trespassing. I ended up living there and it was just, I couldn't leave. I was drawn. So that quote, I was like, yes, let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. If you're in a relationship and it's not working, get out. Get out. I've done that. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go. This isn't working for me. I'm not happy. And happy is my dominant vibration. When I'm by myself, I'm happy. Like if something happens and I'm not happy, I can focus on that and fix it. Something happened, I think 2 or 3 days ago. It's like, oh wow, I'm not happy anymore. I focused on it, fixed it. But when you're in a couple, like if that person's dominant vibration isn't truly happy, some people are just pretending to be, it can pull you down. So let yourself be drawn by what you silently love. If you're in a relationship, but you're drawn to peace and peace means not being in it, leave the relationship, leave the city. If you're drawn to a beautiful city, drawn to a beautiful person, go there and do that. And just be honest. I just love honesty. Just be honest, like go where you're drawn, go where it draws you, and magic happens there. And I was just so amazed at all of the magic on Miami Beach. Like it was as if desires over the years when I lived in Spain and I had a desire to have restaurants within walking distance. And I lived where I lived in Spain, the most elegant restaurant on the beach. I lived in Castelldefels. It's like the Malibu of Spain. It's like where the professional soccer players live. I didn't know that before I moved there. I just went there and couldn't leave. That's kind of me. One of my friends was like, you go on vacation and you don't come back. I was like, shouldn't it be like that? Like if vacation spot is better than home spot, shouldn't you be able to just like park it there? So yeah, so I did that in Spain, but so much of my previous desires were all encompassed where I live now in Miami Beach. And I was drawn there. And it was like these little things, like there's a Soul Cycle in my building and there's couture shopping and there's a gym and there are 4 restaurants and they're organic. And it's just thing after thing after thing after thing. And the people are just at ease and happy. They're like me. So I love it. So that quote, let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. That's our quote for today. And it's some people call it curiosity. It pulls you closer. But when you think about it, that's where it goes from a crush to a date to a relationship. That's when it goes from amateur writing to being a blogger to writing your first novel and becoming an author. That's that strange pull that pulls you towards something. So, and knowing the fact that every single person can be the very best at something. So that means there's a niche cut out just for you, just for me. And it's not copying someone else's, you can be number two if that's what you want, no judgment, but there's something that's just for you, that's unique to your gifts, your talents, and all of your experiences. And so I think I've found mine. And I definitely can tell all of my experiences, that what I did in politics, just the speech writing and learning to speak and honoring who I was in politics. I always spoke from my heart. Like I just didn't get, at one time I was going to pull out of the race. I was running for office. I was going to pull out of the race because I didn't want to focus on finding out the other candidate, what her downside was, and focusing on that. I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to focus on what she's not good at. And then I didn't much care for her. She wasn't nice. So I really didn't want to spend time studying her, but I love people. And then I thought, wait a minute, who is actually the best person for this position? And it was me, hands down. And so I said, okay, I'm not running against her. I'm running for the position. And that's what I did. Didn't focus on, it was like she didn't exist. If I was in a room and she was there, she was always kind of staring at me. It was weird. I would just move my hair like in front of my eye in a position just so I couldn't see her. I'd just do this. Like, okay, there, now my hair's blocking her. And I just did that. I just didn't focus on her at all. She wasn't nice, and that's okay. No judgment against her. But I just wasn't going to focus on her or look at her because she wasn't nice. So, and yes, I won my seat. Yes, I did. So I just think that is so very important. It will not lead you astray, you'll find. But I just said that to say that I just a lot of things teaching. There's a lot that I've done, and the components that I learned in each of those, the skills that I learned, all are being utilized in what I'm doing now. And I can see exactly why I was where I was when I was there, and and what I got out of it and how I needed to be there. So we'll see. But leave a comment below if you already know what that thing is for you. You may not be the very best at it yet, but if you have this thing that you're drawn to, if you write poetry every night, if there's something you're drawn to and you think, yeah, this would be amazing. I have a friend who we studied abroad in Costa Rica, and she was this amazing poet, and I just loved it. She would read us her poems all the time. And I went to visit her in Batavia in Illinois, and I was so excited. It was around Christmas time. And I was like, oh, good, you can read us your poems. So pretty cool. So yeah, so definitely following that, let yourself be drawn by its pull. Let yourself be drawn by that. Go that direction. It will not lead you astray. Find that thing, that one thing that you are the very best at. There's no one else here that's able to do that the way you are. You are unique to it. Yeah, go do that. And I'm going to. I wanted to talk about, so did practice yoga this morning. I usually take like a half-hour break in the mornings. I hadn't taken one in a while, but I was like, I've got to get this yoga practice in. So I did yesterday, did today. I worked today. So I was like, okay, great. When I take that half hour, the yoga practice is 20 minutes. There's a link below. So the yoga practice is 20 minutes and I take a half-hour break. So I'm like, that's perfect. But then I thought there were a couple of business calls I wanted to make that weren't related to the work I was doing today. But that would have taken a half hour. And I was like, I get it. I said, I have to decide what my top 3 items of focus are and push everything out of the way. And I said, number 1 is health. So yoga is first. So during that half-hour break, that's what I'm doing, period. Phone calls, I can arrange those at different times, but that half-hour break that I take when I'm working is for phone calls. And then the same with when I do my hour-and-a-half lunch. I'm like, oh, well, if I, hurried and prepared my food, I could take a half hour and do this. And I'm like, nope, I don't want to rush while I'm eating. I don't want to rush cooking. I don't want to feel rushed. That time is for prepping the food and eating. And today, this is what I made. It was really good too. This couscous was just delicious. But I said, okay, that's what I have to do. So I'm going to think about my other two top priorities. And then everything, and that was our quote from yesterday. You find those things that are that thing you said yes to, and everything else our quote from yesterday, the way to protect what you've said yes to and stay productive is to say no to anyone and anything that could derail you. Anyone and anything. And I realized that today when I practiced yoga during that half-hour break, but I was like, oh, but I want to make some phone calls. I said, oh, they're both important, but one is more important. My health, yoga, every day. It's only 20 minutes. It's only 20 minutes. And it's so good for you. So that one thing, and I'm going to think of two more top priorities. And that way, those three things will take precedence during my day. And it will make it easier when other items pop up just to push them aside. And then to maybe delegate some time, maybe on Friday, I'm like, oh, if I stopped working early Friday, maybe worked a longer Wednesday so that I could stop work during business hours, then I could make some business phone calls during business hours. So I'm like, that's a possibility. So I might do that, think of that. But yeah, definitely finding out what are those top three priorities and that you said yes to, and say no to anything and anyone who might derail that. Like for me personally, I think I mentioned the other day, my phone is always on do not disturb. I have favorites that call in that can get through that, but it's always on do not disturb. And I don't even look to see who called every day. I don't care. It's not important. That is my personal cell that I'm talking about, not my business phone. But yeah, it's not that important. If you're not on the favorites list, you can't just interrupt my time. And the people on the favorites list, they know when I'm working, so they're not just going to casually call. Sometimes they do, but generally that's not the case. So yeah, finding those things. I did the yoga today, felt amazing. I feel really good from that. And I didn't walk today. Didn't walk my mom's dog. She's feeling much better, so she's able to walk her own puppy. And I would prefer to do yoga than walk, because yoga is that it just lubricates your joints. Yoga is a must. Walking is a necessity. So I'll just put it like that. Yoga is a must, walking is a necessity. I think I might incorporate like a nice hike, maybe a 90-minute hike, 2-hour hike on the weekends, like once a week. I think I might incorporate that, because that cardio aspect that you get from that continuous walking is important as well. So I'll figure out a way, but for now I'm happy with the yoga. I'm happy with that. So I did, as I said, started eating at 1:15, and this is what I had, and it was good. It was filling. I did eat it and think, I don't think this is enough, but it was time for me to go back to work, so I did. And that is today's chat on day 17. Our homework is going to be pretty steady, pretty much the same for the rest of this challenge. It is in the mornings, coffee or tea, then water. If you're not doing coffee or tea in the mornings, that's fine, just do water. But in the mornings, we're wanting to stay in ketosis, so we're not doing juices, we're not doing things like that in the morning. So black coffee or tea, and then water. And then after your meal, you can still be a little more flexible with what you're drinking. That's fine. That's for this first 30 days of one meal a day. We're doing a second 30 days, and then we're going to keep on going with these 30 days. And again, between the 30 days, we're doing a 3-day water fast. So look forward to that. So day 31, 32, and 33 will be a water fast. So talk to your healthcare provider if you want to jump in, or you can just watch me and see what my experiences are with the water fasting, because that's definitely something that needs a conversation, that needs to be well thought out and well planned with your healthcare practitioner. So definitely doing that, getting the okay, the thumbs up, and being monitored. That's definitely excellent. I have a lot here where I'm able to do that for myself. Definitely having that conversation is a good idea. But days 1, 2, and 3, or 31, 32, 33, water fast, and then on to one meal a day, the second 30-day challenge. So we are going to keep on trucking until we get to a point where we are doing clean water fasts. The before and afters that I see from people who intermittent fast, the best before and afters are 1 meal a dayers who clean fast. That means a water fast, meaning their skin looks cleaner. They look 20 years young. They literally, I mean, there was one lady, I'm like, I just can't believe that's her. It looks like her daughter, a few of them actually. And that is really the difference. So we want to get to a point where we can do that for our bodies, giving our bodies that delicious, delicious gift of autophagy, of being able to eat the old items that are in the cells and recycle and renew. And recycle and renew. So that's what we want to do for our bodies. And 20 minutes of yoga in the mornings is much better than in the evenings. If you can only do it in the evenings, that's fine. I did for quite a while. I worked out in the evenings. And so if that's your forte, then that's your forte. But I'm choosing in the morning. I think the mornings are a premier time to do your practice because not much comes up in the mornings, but in the evenings, a lot of things pop up. So try to get that slot done in the mornings. And again, there's a link below for the yoga practice. It's a 20-minute Ashtanga. Ashtanga is the most vigorous form of yoga. It's not the yoga on TV where you're it's actually a vigorous form of yoga. So it does everything you need to get done is in that practice. So it's wonderful. Remember again to weigh in every week, same time, same place, same day. That's important. You want to get that logged because you want to see your progress over these months of 1 meal a day. And so you can share that with others so they can jump on, join in, send them a link, let them watch, let them see what you're doing. It's very easy. We have a community of others who are doing it. And if you're wanting to tweak, to adjust the foods you're eating, definitely join us for our next Snap Back Body Wild 90-day challenge. There's a link below. And you get a 50% discount by being part of this challenge. So that is amazing for you. So definitely check that out. There are going to be some discovery calls in the next couple of weeks. Jump on a discovery call. You'll get your questions answered and you can register before the spaces fill up. That is a program that I did, and it is a transformational health program. After I went through the program, I said, I have a responsibility to become a coach to teach this. I couldn't not do it. So I invite you to join. Again, there's a link below, snapbackbodywild.com. And I want to again thank you so much for being here, and also to remind you of our beautiful, beautiful quote from today. Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. Sending adventure your way. I'm Simone Simpson from Wondering Yoga Cafe Entertainment. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.